Game rangers at Addo Elephant National Park, the third largest national park in South Africa, are passionate about the elephants under their care. So when they find baby elephants in trouble, they go above and beyond the health level. That was the case with a baby elephant who was close to drowning until a game ranger stepped in. What the wild herd of adult African elephants did in response will warm your heart and blow your mind. As we all know, elephants are some of the largest animals on Earth. Whenever people get to see them up close, they're blown away by how magnificent they are. This is why their presence in safaris, zoos, and amusement parks around the world draws so much attention. While many of these animals live in captivity, part of their population lives in the wild. Elephants are very capable of fending for themselves, and they're very self-sufficient, so they're usually left alone. However, there are times when a little human intervention can save the lives of these precious animals. More often than not, it's baby elephants who need a helping hand. They can become entrapped or stuck, and while their elephant parents do a lot to help, human help can make a difference. One of the most wonderful things about elephants is that they share a strong bond with their families. So it's not just the mothers who look after the baby elephants, it's also the aunts and grandmothers. They even mourn when baby elephants die or have a stillbirth, and families rally around the grieving mothers when that happens, which is very moving to see. This is why parks like Addo Elephant National Park exist, to protect these incredible animals, especially from heartless poachers, and allow them to roam free while still being protected. Addo Elephant National Park is the third largest national park in South Africa, and they're known for their conservation efforts. Elephants in this park are allowed to live in a natural environment as similar to the real wild as possible, but they still have humans checking up on them. This allows game rangers to intervene quickly whenever an elephant is in danger. The main objective is to avoid unnecessary elephant deaths and help the species grow in numbers as naturally as possible. Most of the time, game rangers simply ride around in their vehicles and keep an eye on elephants. However, sometimes they need to intervene, and that's always a little tricky. In today's story, a baby elephant who was only a few days old was found fighting for his life after falling into a watering hole. When they're newborns, elephants are very small and short, but they can be quite heavy. However, the fact that they're so short makes it very difficult for them to do much. In this case, the baby elephant was trying, but he just couldn't get himself out of the watering hole. As expected, the herd banded together to try and save their young. The game rangers who witnessed this remember how inspiring it was to watch how these massive creatures came together and worked to help the baby elephant. They started spraying the sides of the watering hole with water to soften it. At the same time, they stamped their feet to break the edge of the watering hole so the baby elephant could get out. The issue was that the dam was very solid. No matter how hard they tried, it was clear that they wouldn't be able to help the baby elephant. As you can imagine, the baby was panicking at that point, frantically trying to get out of the watering hole. At this point, the game rangers knew that they had to do something to help. However, the herd was not going to make it easy for them. When baby elephants are in danger, the herd will instinctively move to protect them. So they create a circle around the baby elephant so that it's protected from danger on all sides. That's why it was going to be difficult for the game rangers to get close to the baby. So to stay as hands-off as possible, one of the game rangers started using a backhoe to dig out a path for the baby elephant. He basically adopted the initial plan of the adult elephants because it was a great idea that should have worked, but sometimes that's just not how life goes. So one of the game rangers brought the huge machine closer to the watering hole with the help of his companions. They got it as close as possible to the dam and started digging into the solid, muddy wall. But when the adult elephants saw the huge machine getting closer, they perceived it as a threat. Plus, the equipment was very noisy. Naturally, they all circled the baby elephant, but they were actually moving him further into the water. The water was already quite deep, and the baby elephant was very tired from trying to get out of the dam at this point. The game rangers realized that what they were doing wasn't going to work, so they came up with Plan B. But Plan B was much more dangerous. They got the idea to use their vehicles to chase off the adult elephants. Considering how protective they are of their young, this was going to be a huge risk for the game rangers. The elephants would do anything to get back to the baby, including possibly storming the vehicles. So their best bet was to get the elephants away, get back to the watering hole quickly, and then put the vehicles between the baby and the herd. The game rangers took a deep breath and then set the plan in motion. Quickly, they managed to move the elephants away from the baby. Then two of them placed the vehicles as a barrier, ran to the watering hole, and jumped in to help the baby elephant. All the while, they were worried about the herd coming back, but they had to take the risk, and they trusted the rest of their partners to keep the elephants away. It is worth noting that if the herd came back and saw them touching the baby elephant, it was going to be game over for the game rangers. Addo Elephant National Park is a game reserve, so there's always a risk when working at or even walking into a place like that. Nearly 700 elephants are living there, and elephants are one of the top 5 largest and most feared animals in Africa. The other animals on the list are lions, leopards, buffaloes, and rhinos. Additionally, Addo is also home to many other wild and dangerous animals, including hyenas, warthogs, and much more. As these game rangers focused on rescuing the baby elephant, the risk that any of these wild animals could sneak up on them and catch them unaware was quite high. However, it was a risk that they were willing to take to save the life of the baby elephant, and it really did pay off. No wild animals encountered them as one of the game rangers picked up the baby elephant. However, they are small and short at that age, but they're still quite heavy. The other game ranger helped, so one of them pushed the baby elephant from the watering hole as the other one pulled from outside. The poor baby elephant was so disoriented and exhausted by then that he almost fell right back into the watering hole. Luckily, both game rangers made the effort to keep the baby elephant from falling back and then lifted him into the back of one of their vehicles. Then they drove the baby elephant closer to where the herd was, put him back down on the ground, and then got away before the mother elephant retrieved her baby. The problem was that the baby elephant was so grateful that he decided the 2 game rangers were his new best friends. So as they tried to move away from him, the baby elephant chased them. That would have been adorable if it didn't put the game ranger at risk. So instead of playing with the baby elephant, one of the game rangers moved him closer to the herd again. This time, the mother saw her baby and started calling for him. And when the baby elephant heard that, he bounced over to his mom. What the herd did next is what made all the risk and effort worthwhile for these rangers. As they watched the reunion from a safe distance, both game rangers saw that the elephant mom folded the baby close to her trunk. She was clearly happy to have her baby back. But that's when these incredible animals went a step further. They turned around to the game rangers and started trumpeting towards them. It was like a scene straight out of a movie. The herd was showing the humans their gratitude, and even though they can't speak our language, their actions spoke volumes. Moments like these, where it's clear we're all part of the same ecosystem, are truly magical.